Hey there guys, it's time for another prediction game video for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and this one is for the Elimination Chamber match, or at least one of them, that's going to take place this Sunday at the pay-per-view. It is going to be the very first Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. So, it's going to be for the vacant championship. R-Truth versus King Barrett versus Ryback versus Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. Now, when it comes to Rusev, he's injured. We don't know if he's gonna compete inside the Elimination Chamber or not. And if he doesn't compete, of course we don't know his replacement, because we don't know if he's gonna compete or not in the first place. It doesn't look like Rusev's gonna be able to compete, but we still haven't gotten any news about it. Or at least, at the time I'm recording this, there's been no announcement from WWE. Like, there's no articles or anything like that stating that Rusev will get replaced. I mean, there's rumors that, if he does get replaced, it might be this guy or this guy. I'm gonna get to the replacement in just a few moments. Like, the possibilities of people that could replace Rusev if somebody does replace Rusev. Rusev was actually one of the two guys I really thought were going to win this match. See, I thought Rusev had a really good shot at winning this. I didn't think Rusev was even going to be in the Elimination Chamber match, like, 2 weeks back. Like, after Payback. I thought, like, Adrian Neville would be in this Chamber match. So, anyways, I'm going to go over, some of the reasons why I think, some of the competitors could win this or maybe won't win this. First off, let me start with R-Truth. R-Truth, I don't think he's going to win this at all. I don't think he really has a chance at winning this, unless this is the start of a, like a surprise, an out-of-nowhere push for R-Truth. I doubt that's the case. Whenever there's a multi-man match, oftentimes there's going to be somebody in there that doesn't really have a really good shot at winning this. That people might think, wait a minute, why is this guy in this match? He hasn't won that many matches. He's been losing most of his matches. Most of the time, that person's just there to get pinned. In a situation like this, it's an Elimination Chamber. You don't just pin one person to win the match. It's not a triple threat or a fatal four-way. But we've had cases like this before. For instance, one of the Elimination Chambers before had Mike Knox in there. Who really thought Mike Knox was going to win the Elimination Chamber? He was inside the same chamber, I think, that John Cena was in. And, a bunch of other top stars. Like, really, is Mike Knox really, somebody that would beat John Cena and all these guys inside the chamber? No. He's just there to, for an easy pin. Maybe to be the first person eliminated. There's a bunch of cases like this. There was an Elimination Chamber match before with, like, Big Daddy V. Who else was there? Finlay. Yeah, like, Big Daddy V, Finlay. No one really thought those guys were gonna win that match, but they were in the match anyways, and that was actually for the top prize, the championship or #1 contendership. So yeah, R-Truth, I don't think he's gonna win this at all. There's a bunch of people here I don't think are gonna win, but I think, out of all of them, I think Truth has the least amount of chance. And then moving on to Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's kind of in the same situation as Barrett, where it wasn't that long ago that the guy was the Intercontinental Champion. So why put the title back on him this soon? He was IC champ. I think he was the one that Barrett beat to win. Yeah, Barrett beat Ziggler to win the IC championship, and Barrett lost the IC championship. Dolph Ziggler and Barrett were in the Intercontinental ladder match at WrestleMania. Of course, at that time Daniel Bryan wasn't injured. He had just come back from injury. And so they put the title on Bryan. Of course, they didn't know that Bryan would later on have to go ahead and, be out of action. But even at WrestleMania, I I didn't see Ziggler and Barrett walking away with the championship. I thought if it wasn't going to be Danny Bryan, it was going to be Ambrose. So, Barrett and Ziggler, I feel their chances are pretty slim here. Not as slim as our Truth's chances. And Ziggler, he was... I think this chamber match, if Rusev, didn't get injured, I think it would have been used to further the Rusev and Ziggler feud. And I don't think it would have been furthered by having Ziggler win the championship. I think it would have been furthered by having maybe Rusev cause Ziggler this match, or make him tap out in this match, or something, or maybe Ziggler, pinning Rusev in a surprise pin, and then getting eliminated by Rusev afterwards, who's frustrated that he got eliminated, or Rusev just wins the championship, and they start a feud for that title. So yeah, bottom line, I don't think Ziggler and Barrett are winning this either. Now, moving on to Ryback. I think Ryback's chances are better than the previous three guys I mentioned. And I don't have, this big reason behind it. But Ryback's never been Intercontinental Champion. Ryback has never been champion. He's never held the championship. Never held the IC Championship, Tag Team Championship. Nothing. So this could be used as an opportunity to finally give Ryback that big win and, a championship, a singles championship. And Sheamus did beat Ryback in a matchup before the Elimination Chamber. So going into this, Ryback doesn't really have that much momentum, so he could be used as like a surprise finalist, or surprise winner for this match. A surprise, like I said before, a surprise push for R-Truth and win in this match, I can't see. A surprise win and push for Ryback from this match, I can slightly see it. It's a possibility, but it's a very slight possibility. And then moving on to Sheamus. Now Sheamus, I think, has the best chance at winning this out of everybody in this match. He's the one that recently returned, with the new heel run, the new push. He's been protected. I mean, when he lost to Ziggler, he dominated pretty much the entire match, and then Ziggler rolled him up. And then the following time, once they had the rematch, he beat Ziggler. And out of all these guys, really, he's the one getting the biggest push. Rusev, I would say, is the second option in this match. He's, if Sheamus doesn't win it, then I think it's going to be Rusev. The problem is, Rusev's injured now. So, we don't even know if he's going to compete in this match. And that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. See, it's a bad thing because he just started this feud with Dolph Ziggler, where Lana, has been trying to make Rusev jealous, and obviously it was going to continue on in this Elimination Chamber, but now we don't know if he's going to be in it. And also, if he was going to win the championship, then obviously now that he's injured, he's not going to win the title at the Elimination Chamber. But it might be a good thing if, he was going to get pinned again. Because, after the 3 losses he suffered, I didn't want to see Rusev lose this soon. I want Rusev to remain dominant. I don't want to see him lose, every match or every other match that he's in. I like Rusev as, the dominant guy that just destroys everybody. And just because he lost to one guy doesn't mean that from now on he loses, most of his matches. At least, I hope not. But as far as replacements, if Rusev cannot compete, I'm thinking it's going to be either Bray Wyatt or Kane. Or actually maybe Stardust. You know what? I think it's either Bray Wyatt or Stardust. Those, I think, are the two most likely choices here. Because if they're going to replace him, I'm thinking they're going to replace him with another heel. And Stardust recently was in the IC title picture. I mean, he was in the ladder match at Mania, so he could be a good fit. And also, Bray Wyatt was recently in a feud with Ryback, so he could also be a good fit. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Sheamus as the winner of this match. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can click that like button. And with that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.